Well, I think it's been 6 days.
We missed you.
I missed you. There we go.
Morning, everybody. Are we on?
Mm-hmm.
We're here at the Coati Riverside Farm. Right now, for the next 5 minutes, we're bottle feeding baby kangaroos, and then we'll be on to the sloth encounter. These two that I'm doing right now are Ruby and Max. This one is Max. This one is Ruby. These are both red kangaroos, but the redness of a red kangaroo is a male hormone-driven trait. So the females turn this bluish-gray color right away. The males remain red throughout their life unless they've been neutered. And the little goose, or the little swan walking around there trying to get into the bug container is Tom's. And the next two kangaroos that I'm going to feed here in a second are Tom and Jerry. And today is Tom and Jerry's last day on the farm. Tom and Jerry are going to their new homes. And if you wonder, yes you can own a kangaroo for a pet in the state of Tennessee. And the reason we bottle feed our kangaroos for so long beyond what's nutritionally required is so that they will be friendly pet animals, and our neutered males go to pet homes. Our unneutered males or our females will go to breeders, but our neutered males will go to pet homes. And that is where Tom and Jerry are going tomorrow. I'm about to put Ruby and Max away, grab Tom and Jerry out. Come here, guys. Tom and Jerry. These are neutered males. They are a year old, and they are going to their new pet home tomorrow actually, and they will be living with people who run the site, well, the business, I guess, Our Life Adventures. If you haven't seen those guys on YouTube or Facebook or something, they are very, very popular. They have 8 monkeys, and these guys are going to live there. And in 2 minutes, I'm going to the farm tour.
Okay.
And Kayla is on Sloths, and there is right now a 20-minute horse ride going on.
Oh.
Followed immediately by 45-minute horse rides, followed immediately by 60-minute horse rides.
Well, that's good to hear.
Good morning, Emma.
Good morning.
Emma's about to be bottle feeding Cute Kids Little Lambs because our 9:30 Cute Kid Little Lamb experience did not show up. And so the bottles are all still sitting in there. We got a choice of things to film right now, Kevin. And here's Vladik and Georgie. Welcome. Say good morning to the people there, Vladik.
Got some good footage of Georgie yesterday.
Good morning. What do you got with you, Vladik?
Look at that hair spread. I know. It looks good. Well, I need 3 super pets.
On cue, both done at once. All right, come on, guys. Kangaroos are going away. I'm not sure where the camera's going next, Joe.
It's gonna go.
We got all kinds of things going on this morning. Going to Sloths next.
We'll do this.
Stay with us if you want to watch some sloths. A sloth, I suppose.
he's a lot darker up there. He started out like that as a baby. All sloths are born pretty dark color, dark chocolatey brown. And as they get just a little bit older, they'll start to mature out into that lighter cream color. But in the wild, the cream color doesn't really show through a whole lot because they're covered with moss and algae, fungi, and things like that that grow on their fur to kind of camouflage them into the rest of the canopy of the rainforest. So from the floor of the rainforest looking up, a sloth is pretty well camouflaged in, and you wouldn't really notice them unless you were really looking for them, or unless they were on the move. But typically they are not, and if they are, it's very slow. So sloths spend most of their time eating and sleeping. If they're not eating and sleeping, they're pretty much just hanging there digesting their food. Sloths don't have energy reserve to be able to just be climbing around, doing weird things, and exploring the treetops. So their diet trees, which is what they live in, and there's a very low in caloric content, and it takes calories in order to make energy and ATP for the body to be expelling undue work. And so because they don't have any calories in their diets, they don't have a whole lot of energy storage built up to be able to just be moving around and exploring. Yeah, basically like a leather couch. That's what they feel like, but they're really sensitive for a sloth. That way they know what they're grabbing onto. Since they do have such poor eyesight, they've got to have their other senses are heightened. Because they're making up for what they lack in their vision.
Like a layer like this.
All the crunches. I think he likes the green beans because they're so crunchy. You can stop telling people that because sometimes he'll turn his nose up at green beans, and it's like right after I just told him he loves green beans. But we only have our two-toed sloths here in captivity because three-toed sloths are a lot harder to keep in captivity. Their diets are a lot more sensitive to what they can and can't eat. And in the wild, obviously, they're not going to be getting sweet potatoes, zucchini, squash, green beans, and things like that. They only eat the leaves of the trees that they live in. And the three-toed sloths' diets cannot vary much from that at all. So there's been efforts to keep some three-toed sloths in captivity and start breeding them and, having a captive bred population of sloths, the three-toed sloths. But it's not gone too well yet. So they've been trying to work on growing some groves of the sarcopia trees in southern parts of Florida and California, but have not had great success with that just yet. That's our new baby kangaroo that we got just the day before yesterday.
Random things.
Movie flash. But you can see how dilated his pupils are. And they do stay like that in dark and light areas for the most part. And they do have a really narrow field of vision, so they don't really see something until it gets right in front of their faces, which is why they can be so easily startled. Not only that, but they have a condition that's called rod monochromacy. That means that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells. So we have cone cells in the back of our eyes that allow us to see color, but since they lack those cells, they are colorblind. The rod cells that they have in their eyes are specialized to see motion, and those work a lot better in dim lighting. So in an area like this where he's got an LED light right above his head, it's even worse vision for him. So his enclosure is a lot more dim and a lot easier for him to see. But it's still terrible vision when he does see. And he doesn't just see in black and white, it's basically all just blobs to him. So we're just kind of fuzzy figures to him. He can't really see the difference between me or you guys, but he can hear the difference. So because their vision is so bad.
The tailgate is open and blackjack's walking around. Has anybody seen?
They make up for it in their sense of hearing. So he can hear my voice, and he's still learning my voice because I've not been here quite as long as some of the other people. But he starts to know who people are just by hearing their voices and know the different inflections that they put behind different things that they say. Especially John, he knows John's voice the most, the guy that just walked in here just a minute ago. Because when we first got Flash, he was his sole caregiver for the first 2 years of his time here. And so he is the one that spent the most time with him, with talking with him and getting him used to hearing people in his enclosure and seeing people down there before he would come down and, interact with us like this at all. Have you guys ever had the opportunity to interact with a sloth before?
I have lots of stuff in the swamp.
Where are you from?
We live up in Quinn.
Okay, not too far. Where'd you hear about us?
My mom saw TikTok listening to me. She's a sloth nut.
Yeah. I think TikTok is our biggest platform right now, our followings.
I think Coati, some good stuff.
They've mentioned that in the wild they have a lot of moss and algae that grows on their back that they use for camouflage, but they also have a moth, a specific type of moth that lives on the back of a sloth, that lives in the fur of the sloth and will feed on that moss and algae that grows on their backs. There's a long scientific name for that moth, but for short we call it the sloth moth because that's the only place that those moths live in the entire world. And they're native to the rainforest as well, and they can't live in an environment like this. So in the rainforest, they have a symbiotic relationship with those moths, meaning that they both benefit from the relationship. So the sloths need the moths, and the moths need the sloths in order to survive in the rainforest. So once a week, when the sloth comes down to use the bathroom, and they do only go once a week, about every 7 to 10 days, they hold it all week long. They don't go in the tops of the tree. They come down to the base of the tree to do their business. And they always use the same tree, and they go down the same side of the tree to the same pile that they always go to. And that's not because they're creatures of habits. That's because they have a relationship with those moths, and they need that moth population on their back. So in order to keep that population up, they have to go to that same dung pile every time so that the moths that are living on the sloth's back can come down and lay their larvae in the dung pile. And then a week later, when the sloth comes back down the same tree, same side of the tree to the same pile, that larvae have now developed into adult moths that will then crawl up onto the back of the sloth, and the cycle will be repeated. So it's a constant supply for the moths, and the sloths need that because when they groom themselves, they will actually lick up a portion of the moths that are on their back, and that's their protein source in the wild. So they do eat a small variety of bugs and insects that are on the leaves that they eat and that are on their backs. But the most important part of their relationship is the waste product of the moth that the sloth will lick up. So when they groom themselves, they lick up a portion of the moth's waste, and that's where the sloth gets the bacteria in order to digest its food. So they digest their food through a bacterial process, unlike us, that we use an enzymatic process. Those enzymes are always in our system. But for the sloth, the bacteria is really sensitive to changes, like things like temperature and things like that. And since the sloth cannot regulate their own body temperature, it really becomes an issue for keeping that bacteria growth up. So if the temperature outside drops, the sloth's body temperature is also going to do so. And if that happens, then the bacteria that's in the sloth's gut will start to die off. And that is bad news for the sloth. So here in captivity, since we don't have the moths that are living on the back of the sloth, they don't have a constant supply to be able to get that bacteria growth back up, which is why in captivity, it's very important that we keep their temperature steady. So it feels pretty good in here today because it's pretty warm outside, especially in the middle of the day when it starts to heat up. But it stays a constant 78 degrees in here, 78, 79 degrees. And if it were to drop much below that, the sloth's body temperature would drop as well. And it's not that we worry about hypothermia, we worry more so about that bacteria starting to deplenish. Because if it does, it's really difficult to get that back up. We ran out of the good stuff for you.
So you still got much film and zucchini.
Try to hold off on the rice mixture until very last, because if he eats this, he starts to fill up on it. Doesn't want anything else. So Flash was not raised on this rice mixture like our other two babies were, and so therefore we don't give him a whole lot of that just because we don't want to upset his system, because everything is very sensitive for them. And you guys are welcome to pet him, just real nice and slow down his back with an open hand, just like this. You can see how soft he actually is compared to what he looks like.
Those are people hair.
Yeah. Believe it or not, each individual hair of the sloth has a lot of tiny little micro cracks all throughout it. And that's what allows them in the rainforest to be able to form that moss and algae, because once they get rained on, the rainwater will gather in the sloth's hair and begin to form that, and they use that for camouflage. Let's see if he wants any of this. You want to sleep on us, bud? Can you smell that? So since their eyesight is so poor, their sense of smell is pretty good as well. So he's gonna show us this cool trick here. We can lower all the way down and hang by just his two back feet. And they have the ability to do that from the moment they're born. He says, you put a bunch of veggies in this. So if you wanted to hold this bowl, you can take a picture with him, and you can get all the way right up next to him like this, and makes a pretty good picture.
Oh, he's grabbing. Holding the sloth.
They look like they were filled mange.
Yeah. Yeah, especially towards their butts, they have a lot of little cowlicks and everything all over the place. It makes them look a lot coarser than they actually are. But the sloths that we have here on the farm are probably the cleanest animal that we have here on the farm. They require very minimal grooming. If we do, it's just a little butt bath that we have to do, because when they come down to use the bathroom, they do a little potty dance and basically twerk at the base of the tree and they kind of move their butt around in the poop. So sometimes they get just a little few dingleberries back there we've got to clean up. But otherwise, sloths don't have any scent glands, musk glands, or anything like that, so they don't have any type of odor to them. And in the rainforest, they smell exactly like the rest of the rainforest because they have a lot of moss and algae all over them. So you think about a lot of things that would be trying to hunt a sloth, hunt by sense of smell. So they are virtually scentless, and they're pretty well camouflaged in the canopy. It's pretty cool. But the number one thing that is out to get a sloth is the harpy eagle. So those eagles are very massive animals, and they can see from the very tops of the trees. They can see the sloths a lot easier, because from the top looking down at a sloth, you can see it easier than from the bottom looking up, because they don't have as much moss on their underbellies. And sloths have a specific blocking mechanism in their claws that allow them to hang like that so effortlessly. So if you were to think about for us to try to do that, that would be really difficult, and we'd be pretty tired by the end of eating that bowl, because we're using muscle, we're using energy and tendons to be clamped down around the branch like that. But his back feet right now are actually in a relaxed state. So for him to be clamped down over the branch like that is his relaxed state. So it's very effortless, and he's expending no energy to do that. But if you were to try to let go, that's what's harder for him to do and what he has to think about doing, because that's his energy expensive state. Little eyes peeking over the side of the dish.
Kind of good grip.
Yep. And I do just use those toes for gripping, so they don't have any form of like being able to spread them open and pick anything up or anything like that. I just use them for their gripping abilities. And those claws do continue to grow throughout their lifetime. So as they climb and they use those claws, they start to kind of dull down from.
I don't love it.
You see what he's done? The zucchini or the squash that I've chopped up in there, he pushes it all around and just tries to eat the rice. He hates it when I do that, but he needs to have his veggies as well. We'll see if he wants to show us his other cool trick. This is just a little sliver of a banana peel, and he does like the peels just as much as he does everything else. So we'll see if he wants to show us this morning. But he can turn all the way back. Well, he can go further than that, but he doesn't feel like it. So you can see his hips are facing one way. His spine can go and rotate all the way back. So I can rotate this far, but I can't rotate all the way, the rest of the way around.
This one does not, but I like it.
And the two-toed sloth actually have a few extra vertebrae in their lumbar spine that allows them to do that and allows them to be so flexible. So, yeah, that's not the good stuff. Now I know you guys have the good stuff broke out. Okay, bud. So another kind of cool feature about sloths is that it takes their digestive tract 30 days to digest everything in it from start to finish. So it takes a long time to get everything worked through. And because of that, sloth can't just continue to eat and eat and eat and eat, because it would back up pretty quickly because the rest of it's not going through. And the very infrequent, once a week bathroom habits kind of tends to back them up too. So as soon as the sloth gets full for the day or for the hour, they have absolutely no problem shutting that off and not eating anymore. Because if they were to continue to eat, their system would begin to back up pretty quickly, and they'd be pretty bloated. And the sloth's digestive tract only has one-way valves, so ours has two-way. We have the ability to vomit or regurgitate our food, but they do not. And because of that, when he was extended all the way down, eating out of that bowl of rice, he was able to swallow that and just, defy gravity basically. But if I were to try to do a handstand and eat something like that, it wouldn't go as well for me because we do have two-way valves. So everything that's inside of a sloth is designed to be an upside-down creature. Everything from their digestive tract, the locking mechanisms in their claws, their circulatory system, and everything in between. So it makes sense that with all of that, their vision would be like that as well. So they do have really poor vision, but what they do see when they're upside down, that's actually their right side up. And if they were to fall out of the tree and be on the ground, that would be like everything's upside down to them. So they're pretty disoriented if they do fall out of the tree. And it's on average that the sloths fall out of the tree about once a week. Whether that's due to something that has startled them and they're trying to get to the end of the branch and they just fall off, or they're going to grab for their next branch and they grab their own foot, because they do have really poor eyesight. Especially if something startled them and they're trying to get away from it, their grasping tends to be a lot more rapid, and so they don't really think about it too much before they grab onto it. And it could be their own leg. But you would think that would be an issue for the sloths if they fall out of the tree once a week, but it's not. So sloths are built basically like trucks on the inside. You wouldn't think it by looking at his outside, furriness, but on the inside he has a total of 46 ribs. So that's double what we have. It's 23 sets of ribs, and those go all the way down right up against his hip bones. So it's kind of a little protective casing for them. And when they do hit the ground, their bones are so pliable that everything just kind of squishes and then goes back to normal. And their organs don't sustain virtually any internal damage. If you were to think about us, we get into a car accident, our body cavity is going to hit the steering wheel, and then our organs are going to hit the front of our body cavity, and we're going to get a lot of internal damage from that. But their organs are suspended right in the middle of their abdominal cavity by a lot of suspensory ligaments and connective tissue and everything to keep it right in place. So when they do hit the ground, nothing jostles around like it does for us. It's pretty interesting the way they're designed to take things like that. And they need it to be that way because sloths tend to spend most of their times in the very tops of the sarcopia trees, which can go up above 100 feet. But a sloth is designed to withstand falls from up to 100 feet. So if something was up in the very tops of the trees with them and daring enough to go out on one of those limbs after the sloth, it's kind of best case scenario for the sloth if they were both to fall out of that tree, because the sloth is almost definitely going to survive that fall and the cat is probably not going to survive it. And if they do, they're going to be laying there licking their wounds for a while, but the sloth will just go right back up the tree where it came from. So jaguars and ocelots are the number 2 thing that's out to get a sloth in the wild. But it's pretty cool the way that that locking mechanism works in their forearms, because the sloth has enough grip strength to withstand a whole big cat like a jaguar or an ocelot that can get to be up to 30 pounds holding down on that sloth. Yeah, he has figured out that he can wedge himself in between that upper branch and the ceiling. And it's quite difficult to get him down after he gets in that position, so I'm gonna try to keep it down here so flash. I think he's kind of he's teaching me that he gets he gets a lot more good treats when he's trying to go back up there into that little position, because I have to break out the stuff to keep him down here. Sometimes I think that if he gets kind of picky, if you break off the end of the veggies where it smells a little bit more for him, sometimes he'll take it like that. That's not rice or banana or apple. What are you trying to do? What do you think, bud? You full for the morning? Yeah, unless you got more banana. So fruits are just, we give that to them in moderation. They have a lot more fructose in it, and that's kind of harder for the sloths to digest rather than plant material. That's why it's just kind of a treat basis. Big one. So nope. Figured he'd be a lot more hungry this morning because he just went to the bathroom last night. When they do go to the bathroom, since they only go once a week, it's about a third of their entire body weight. And it's not just in solids, it's in liquids as well. Big bud. You just gonna curl up there and be warm now? But you can see how moist his nose is right now too, and that's because they do have really high humidity requirements. It has to be at least 50% humidity. And that spigot over there in the corner, we attach a hose to that once a day. There's a misting system that goes all the way up to the top of the enclosures. That mist, and we mist it until the floor of his enclosure gets just a little bit wet, and that keeps the humidity up in his enclosure. And they do have outdoor areas as well that we open those doors for them when it's warm enough out there. So in the mornings we have to wait until, watch the weather and everything, make sure that it's warm enough out there before we open them up, because of that bacteria, how I was talking about how sensitive it is. Do you guys have any other encounters here for the day, or is it just the sloths? You'll have to keep an eye on our page, maybe come back here in a few months, we're gonna get another baby sloth, and that will be, we'll probably name her Chloe, so then we'll have Flash, Dash, Chloe, and Zoe. We're all about the rhyming names here. What do you think, bud? You just gonna stay up there anything else? That's probably best. be a trend when people find out about something that you like, they think that you have to be obsessed with it.
But she is. obsessed.
Yeah, it all works. It all works out then. Mix it in a little bit better here for us. Eat him a little bit. I don't think you've got any cool pictures up next to him yet. Come on, bud. Says I smell a lot of veggies in that. Oh, dang. Oh, you full if you're turning away Ross.
No, I've already got it here.
Like I was saying earlier, they really need that internal off switch that they can just flip so that they don't continue to eat and eat. Because it does take a while to get everything through. So if it starts to back up on them, then, you know, that is completely their decision to stop eating like that. I wish I had the same shut-off valve. I can have a full meal and still feel like I want some ice cream afterwards.
Does he put himself up when you open the doors?
He does. So his enclosure is just behind here. It goes up 20 feet. So we open it up, we have to let him move all the way over here to get out of the way of the door, and we open it up. And he uses the door frame to hook right here, and then there's a branch that's pretty close to him. You can just grab onto it and he goes up there after we're finished. But he's got one more encounter after this morning, then he'll be done for the day. That's another thing about our sloths, is that we're really guarded about the time that we allow people to spend with them and the time that we spend with them, because they do sleep a lot during the day. And while they do enjoy this interaction, especially Zoe and Dash, because they are ambassador animals, they were conditioned from a very young age to enjoy being held by people, and that's just kind of second nature to them. And so this morning after I fed Zoe her breakfast, putting her back down into her little hammock is a chore to peel her front feet off of you and then peel her back feet off of you before she grabs up on you again. Because that's really where she likes to be. And we want to keep it that way. So usually with them, Zoe's encounters are 30 minutes at a time. So you can book 2 back-to-back encounters with her.
Here, 10:30 is doing their hand sanitizer. They're right here.
Okay. Where she's booked for an hour, and then right after that, she's done for, a few hours to just give herself a break, let her decompress, do what she wants. That way, when we come in for our next encounter, we have the next people that are here to see her. She's looking forward to it, and she's not like, oh, more people, because too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So even though that is what she enjoys, we want to keep it that way. All right, Buddy. Are you just gonna stay up there and sleep the rest of the time? We've got some more people that want to see you for just a little bit. Alright, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed it and learned just a little bit more about sloths. We'll take a step out here. We'll sanitize our hands one more time. Alright.
Hello, little kangaroo.
Thank you guys again for coming to spend time with us. You guys ready? Alright, well, come on in here and
Do I need
flash
to
is
do it
already
again
on.
where I touch Liza?
Yeah, if you touch
Okay.
something else, go ahead and sanitize one more time. Oh yeah, she does all the time.
Oh my
I
god.
feel like we should have named her something else like Uni, because she's got that unibrow that goes all the way across. Well, how are you guys doing this morning?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Where are you guys coming in from?
Nashville.
Oh yeah, so not too
Yeah.
far. Cool. I'm getting him some more breakfast out here this morning. I think he's gotten full and he's not really wanting to eat too much more, but we'll see if we can entice him with some of this good stuff here. So this morning he's getting a mixture of green beans, zucchini, sweet potatoes, squash. And obviously these things are not things that they would find in the rainforest.
Right.
But the two-toed sloth's diets are able to vary quite a bit after they're in captivity. The three-toed sloths, well, we say he's a two-toed sloth, but you can see he's got 3 on the back feet and 2 on the front.
Mm-hmm.
We say two-toed, we're referring to the front claws. So the three-toed sloths that have 3 on the front and 3 on the back are a lot harder to vary their diets. So there's been efforts in the past years to try to implement them into captivity. That way we can get their population up and make sure that, they don't become endangered animals. But nobody's had great success with that yet, just because their diets are a lot more sensitive. So in the wild, they just eat the leaves of the sarcopia trees, which are the trees that they live in. So,
Is it a girl?
he's a boy.
Boy, what's his name?
Flash.
Flash.
Flash, 100-yard dash. Oh, bud. You come down and see us this morning? No? What? No sweet potatoes? I was just telling them that kind of a cool feature about sloths is they have the ability to just completely turn off the want to eat. So once they get their system full for the day or for the hour or a few hours, they completely stop eating. So it takes their digestive tract 30 days from start to finish to digest everything that's in it. And so because of that, because it takes so long, they can't just eat and eat and eat and eat, because it would back up pretty quickly.
Right.
So once he gets full for the morning, he completely stops and he won't eat again until the evening. So he's not a snacker like our other two sloths are. Both Zoe and Dash, they both just kind of snack all throughout the day. And those are the two sloths that we actually hold. They came from a totally different situation than Flash did. Flash we got from a facility that was basically just observation only beforehand. So when we got him, he was already 3 years old, used to not being touched, not being, interacted with at all. So it took John really about the first 2 years of having him, of just talking to him, being in his enclosure and getting him used to being around people before he would consider even coming down and interacting with us like this. But now we've gotten to the point where we can touch Flash. We can give him nice little slow pets like this just down his back. You guys are welcome to do so and see how much softer he is compared to what he looks like. He looks
Yeah, I was like,
pretty
he looks
wiry.
coarse.
Yeah, he looks wiry back here, but if you touch him, they do feel just like human hair.
He looks like he'd feel like a pig.
I was gonna say,
yeah. Oh, wow.
He's like, but if you were to look at a sloth's hair underneath the microscope, you would see that each individual hair has a lot of tiny micro cracks all throughout each hair, and that's what allows them in the wild to be able to form moss and algae that grows on their backs.
Oh, really?
They use that as camouflage. So from the floor of the rainforest looking up, they blend in pretty well to the rest of the canopy. But from the top looking down, you can see the sloth a lot easier, which is why the harpy eagle is really the #1 thing that's out to get them in the wild.
Oh, really?
Yes, they can see them a lot easier from the tops of the trees, the bird's eye view. And those claws also have locking mechanisms in there that allow them to hang just like this for so long. So right now he's expending
Like no energy?
yeah, absolutely no energy. So for them, clamp down is actually their relaxed state, and to have to let go, loosen up, and reach for the next branch, that's what's more difficult for them to do. That's what takes energy and using ATP for them to do that. And so because what their diets are in the wild are naturally very low in caloric content,
Yeah.
it's hard for them to, just be expending the energy that they don't have. It takes calories to make energy.
I read that they fall a lot because they'll sleep like hanging and forget, and then they wake up and like.
Not, so the locking mechanism, even if a sloth were to pass away holding onto a branch, they would continue to hang there until something either rotted or knocked them out of the tree.
Okay.
So it's not that we worry about them letting go and forgetting that they're supposed to hang on. It's more so that we worry about, something were to be after them or startle them, and they're trying to get away from it pretty quickly. They can grab, they can move a lot quicker if they feel threatened or they feel like something is after them. But if they're trying to get to the end of the branch, which is kind of their defense mechanism, they just want to get away from it, they want to evade whatever it is that's threatening them, they can move a lot quicker, and their eyesight is really poor, and so if they're reaching for that branch, they can actually grab onto their own leg, and a miscalculated step like that can send them tumbling to the floor.
Like
But
poor in general, or just like poor like at night, or?
at all times during the day, especially in the light. So they have what's called bright blindness.
Okay.
They have a condition that's called rod monochromacy. That means that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells.
Has that been there the whole time?
Yeah.
It just,
I was like, They have a condition called rod monochromacy, that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells. So we have cone cells in our eyes that allows us to see color, but since they lack those cells, they are colorblind. Not only do they see in just black and white, but it's really blurred and fuzzy, so they really only see like fuzzy shapes. They can't really distinguish what it is that's in front of them. So even just a butterfly flying by pretty quickly is, enough to startle them. They also have really narrow field of vision, so they have essentially no peripheral vision. Are you just gonna sleep up there, bud?
Yeah, it's gonna be like,
Just taking a nap today. They do sleep a lot during the day. They sleep up to 16 to 17 hours a day.
gosh, quite a lot.
Yeah.
So when you say they get away quick when they feel like they're in danger, what does that look like?
I can show you
what's
here at
quick
the
for
end,
them?
when we
Don't
get,
scare 'em.
when we get closer to the end, I'll open up his door and let him go back into his enclosure, and he moves pretty quickly, going back up to his hammock that he likes to go to. Obviously, he's not gonna feel threatened by that, but it's something that he's very motivated to do, so he goes up there pretty quickly.
So y'all rotate out the three?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so
Y'all
we do.
just have the three?
We just have the 3 right now. We're hoping to get a third one. She should be here in the next few weeks. So we get our other 2 sloths that we have, Zoe and Dash. They both come from an ambassador program that raises them from a very young age, conditions them to enjoy being held by people. And if they don't pass the final ambassador test, which proves that they enjoy being held by people, they would go to a facility that would be more so just observation, not so much hands-on. But Flash did not come from the same brood that we got Zoe and Dash from, which is
You
why
said he was observation,
he
right?
was, yeah. So he wasn't used to anything like this beforehand, and it's taken him, a while to get to the point where he is now, but he has come leaps and bounds from where he was when we first got him.
Do they live in there?
They do. So he lives in this enclosure, goes up 20 feet, and then Zoe is in here and she's taking her little nap.
Oh my God. Oh, it's just the 2 of them.
We've got the 2 down here right now. The 3rd sloth is still just a baby, and he spends most of his time up at the main house. He comes down for the encounters during the day.
So cute.
They're looking a little ball right now. That's actually another kind of cool thing about them is that they're part of the super order called Zithorans. That means that they have the ability to hinge their spine all the way into a ball. So I can curl my spine over, but I can't go all the way down to my head in between my legs like they can. So Flash has discovered this trick that he can do where if he feels like he is just completely over it and does not want to interact anymore, does not want people touching him, he can wedge himself in between the top of that branch and the ceiling. And that is not a whole lot of space. But the other day we had, the vet was coming to do his exam and some blood work and things on him. So he had to stay out here a little bit longer because if we put him back in his enclosure, he goes all the way to the top and doesn't want to come back down. We're not going to force him to do so. So we kept him out here. And he was really wanting to take a nap and was really over being out here. And so he curled all the way up into this tiny little ball at the very top that is very minimal spacing. So you can see how just absolutely curved that spine is. And not a lot of animals have the ability to do that. But armadillos, anteaters, and sloths are all part of that super order that are able to do that with their spines.
What's their enrichment?
So for them,
They just like to chill.
yeah, I mean, for the most part, you think about animals that are in captivity, they get really bored and that they
Like
need
you see him at
things
zoos
to...
just pacing.
Exactly. And Baku, a lot of times, he's a little 3-banded armadillo that we have in there. His enclosure is in Zoe's room, but he paces a lot, even though we give him a lot of different things to do. We give him balls that he can roll around, and his food is packed into those balls. We have different toys that we put in there that he does play with. His food, we give it to him on a lick map that he can, work for, and he has to think about it more so. But other animals like that, their minds just go crazy. But a cool thing about sloths is that they do not. So they are very chill animals, and in captivity they are as well. So they are completely fine with being left alone for the day, chilling out in their hammock, and then eating, as they desire. There are different ropes and things that are in there that gives them a little bit of something different to climb onto and to do in there, but as far as enrichment, the sloths don't really do
Nap,
a
they
lot.
like to nap for enrichment.
Yeah, pretty much. There are some other places that I've seen that have, some kind of a tool that you can hang from a branch and stick their food like in it and have it sticking out like that. Yeah, you can stand real close to him, he won't mind. If you want to stand on the other side of her, I can take a picture of both of you guys too if you want.
You stand there. Yeah.
You want me to take one of both of you guys in it?
Their eyes are so, their pupils are so small.
And you can see how dilated those pupils are too. They stay like that in dark and light areas. And that's what shows that their field of vision is actually really narrow. See if he wants to show us his cool trick. And if he does, he'll extend all the way down, hanging by just his two back feet. And that's usually a pretty good picture to take if you want to stand right next to him. Oh, buddy.
I'm also easily enticed by
Yeah, you can stand right next to him too. Oh. The fruits we just give to him in moderation because they're pretty high in sucrose and fructose. That's a little bit harder for them to break down.
I'm afraid my ear like a dog.
About hour away, no, hour and a half away.
About an hour and a half away.
We came here a few weeks ago, it's my granddaughter's birthday. Yeah. And so I came with them and so I took some. Well, I tell you, my granddaughter, she's 2, and
For y'all, this guy's name is Coati. He is a Coati. In some South American Indian language, that means nose in belt, because they'll sleep curled up with their tail around the outside and like their nose is stuck in their belt. And in Mexico, they call this Coati, which means the lonesome one, because the males will all be solitary, the females go in groups or bands. The Coati, this is the exception to see him, touch him, pet him, hold him. The long claws and the sharp teeth on this guy are not the best thing for a petting animal. And he likes shiny things. He tries to take them from me. He likes rings and watches and cell phones. I'm trying to teach him what the Rolex symbol looks like, but I don't have one, so, you know, it's a work in progress. But anyway, this guy is an arboreal creature, meaning meant to live in trees. He can run up a tree as fast as he can run across flat ground, thanks to these great big sharp claws right here. Look about like a Wolverine, and that is as short as those can be trimmed. And he's got great big giant teeth. His teeth are bigger than look like what could possibly fit in his mouth, because he's got a gap in his top jaw, so his bottom tooth comes all the way through his top jaw. So he's got some giant chompers in there. This guy was bottle raised in the living room until he was 8 months. The end of his in-the-house career is when he discovered there is no child-proof lock that will keep him out of anything. And unloading the cabinets a couple times a day gets real old real quick. Hey guys, that holds a monkey, not a kid. Thank you. So this guy is a omnivore. He will eat absolutely anything if he can get it in his mouth. It's food as far as he's concerned. Long sharp claws and long wiggly nose clue us into the fact that he likes to dig into the ground. He also likes to dig the bark off of trees. So in the ground, he would be eating grubs and bugs and worms and such as that. In the trees, he would peel the bark off to look for grubs or termites that might be just below the bark of the tree. He also will, as he's digging in the ground, he would eat any lizard or amphibian he could get his claws on. He'd be happy to dig into a rodent nest and wipe that baby out. And up in the trees, he likes to get into bird nests or squirrel nests and take care of business up there. He also eats every kind of veggies. Here on the farm, his favorite things to eat, no, he won't eat the grass. Here on the farm, his favorite things to eat are bugs and his favorite things to eat on the farm are hard-boiled eggs and grapes and blueberries. He likes boneless, skinless chicken breast, boiled, not fried. He likes super worms, which are some of these. Cody, you want some? There you go, baby. He likes to eat super worms. He likes boneless, skinless chicken breast, boiled, not fried. And I gave him a piece of Meat Lovers pizza from Papa John's a while back, and he's like, "Where have you been all my life?" This guy can run down a tree as fast as he can run up. He goes head first down, and he can go full speed down because his feet will go entirely backwards. So he can run down a tree literally as fast as he can run up. And he's just a cool little animal.
I was trying to tell him about that the other day, and what's her name?
Yeah, it goes like this. They both go outwards like that, and then he just full speed runs down the tree. The two in the next stall over there are a breeding pair. We keep looking every day to see if we have a new baby Coati. The female, last time she had a baby, she turned gray about a month before she had the baby. She normally is the honey brown color like this one, or like the breeding male that's in there. And when she's about to have a baby, she turns gray. I guess it must be some kind of natural camouflage for hiding out with the baby. But she's been gray for going on a month now, so we keep thinking every morning there's going to be a baby Coati in there. And when we do have a baby, it'll ride on my shoulder for, a month or so until I have it trained up to go be an ambassador animal for someone else. And they are just really super cute when they're born. That one was Little Bit. That was my last one that I raised, who's now an ambassador at another farm. And just want to know what one feels like. You can pet him while I hold it. Just don't stick your hands in his face. It's nothing especially exciting about the way he feels, but when else are you going to feel a Coati monkey, right? Yep.
Four touches, that's it.
Yeah.
Alright guys, I'm going to now show you the newest animal on the farm. This is our newest animal on the farm. This is a baby female red kangaroo. We haven't named her yet because our kangaroos, they've all been by pairs. So our oldest two are Rough and Tough, and then we have Damani and Alora, and then we have Rosie and Josie, and then we have Ruby and Max. And we have one that's due to be out of the pouch outside in another couple of weeks, and we didn't have a second one, so I just picked this one up day before yesterday, and she is just a sweet little girl. If you want to pet her, do hit the hand sanitizer first. She's still on quarantine. She's only been here 2 days now. And we're waiting to pick a name after we know if the other one is male or female, because the two that go as a pair will have matching names like all the other ones do. And she is just a cute, friendly little girl. And since she's only 7 months old, this one is still eating 5 bottles a day. So we feed our kangaroos bottles for a crazy long time. Nutritionally, they don't need to be on 10 months, but socially, the longer you give them a bottle, the friendlier they will be. And we do raise them to be super friendly because you can't keep a kangaroo as a pet in Tennessee. And so our neutered males go to pet homes when we're done bottle feeding them. And we have Tom and Jerry that are in the stall there are leaving tomorrow to go to their pet home. You guys are welcome to pet this little girl.
You can have a kangaroo if you have a skunk.
Yes, it makes all the sense in the world. A skunk is a class 5 animal. That is an animal that is being held for display or pet in the environment that it is native to. So, like in Costa Rica, a class 5 animal, if they had that situation there, would be a sloth. So people in Costa Rica where incomes are very low will go out and snatch a sloth out of the rainforest, duck it in a bucket of bleach, set up a roadside stand when there's a cruise ship that's in, and use that sloth up in a day. And many sloths perish due to that practice. So if people here were allowed to just go snatch a skunk out of the woods and keep it for a pet, that would dramatically impact the population of skunks. So animals being held captive in the environment that they are native to is called class 5 animals, and they need a special license for that. But a kangaroo, nobody went out into the wild and captured this kangaroo. This kangaroo was bred on a farm, its mother was bred on a farm, its grandmother was bred on a farm, because you can't currently import it. So every kangaroo that there is in the States and just about every Coati that there is in the States are all captive bred animals, just like that monkey. That monkey, he is a captive bred animal. Nobody went to Africa and snatched this guy out of the forest and brought him here to be a pet. But if you made it legal to keep, if you're saying one animal that's wild is the same as another animal that's wild, people would go out there and they would capture every bobcat and cougar and everything that there is, and then there wouldn't be any wild ones. So that is why it makes sense, and arguably it's harder than it ought to be to do that, and it is hard to get a license to do that. Pretty much the only way to get a license is to be a rehabber, but rehabbers are supposed to release them. And a lot of people, they're stingy with rehab licenses because so many people are rehabbing, raising themselves a pet, and then they don't want to turn it loose. Yeah, so that is why it is that way.
I kept returning to the accident.
Why?
Because you guys left the boxes out, so the boxes are soaked from rain yesterday. So I couldn't put anything in the boxes.
I'll figure it out. The box for the box for the little piece is inside, and the big piece, I mean, if it doesn't have a box, it doesn't have a box.
So just load better of a truck without the boxes,
The great big piece?
The big, yeah, that.
Yeah, it should be able to go without, but I'll be done with this tour here in a while and I'll help. All right, the next animal I'm going to show you is Bakugan. And he is named Bakugan after the Bakugan toys. And the thing about a Bakugan toy is that it closes up into a ball like this. And then it just stays a ball. And then when you hit it with a magnet, it jumps out in its toy. And the next animal you're going to see is our own personal Bakugan. Kevin, this is Georgie. Georgie is 6 months old, 7 months old, and Georgie will be doing people encounters here in the future. Right now he's getting used to the fact that there are other people in the world besides family and staff. And the best way to get a monkey to come to you is ignore it. Actually, you don't want it at all. And this guy is Bakugan. So this is a mammal, not a reptile, where you see that it has its 1, 2, 3 moving bands that are held together with bands of skin. The little star patterns all over it here are little bony plates. And if you look at it in the light, you can see all the little hair sticking through all over it, because this is a mammal, not a reptile. So this is the front of its carapace, back of its carapace, and this is its 1, 2, 3 moving bands. This is a Brazilian 3-banded armadillo. This is his head, this is his tail. They dovetail together like that to make a perfect ball. And then when you set him up, he just comes right out. He comes right out. Right on cue, he just jumps right out like I had a magnet.
Okay, we try.
So when he comes out, he looks like a little potato with high heels. So this guy is an insectivore, and this is not the kind of armadillo you see on the roads in the States. This guy comes from Brazil, and we are actively seeking a companion for him, but three-banded armadillos almost always have identical quadruplets, and they're almost always male. So when the breeders have a female, they don't want to let it go. But when I do eventually get a female, I'm going to name it Shaka Khan, and they'll get their little walkout music. We'll have Bakugan and Shaka Khan.
You have a friend.
Yep. So if you want him to come to you, ignore him.
Yeah.
Just completely ignore him.
I have my hair up on
Yeah, he looks like sort of a roly-poly or something. Armadillos and sloths and anteaters are the families of Thorin, or the super genus. What is it? Super genus?
Yes.
Super genus Zathorin, which is mammals with a hinged spine. So all of those can ball up to one degree or another, but he's the professional at it. All right, now I'm going to show you another animal with a similar theory of defense as Bakugan. I'm going to go grab it and bring it right back here.
Look at there, man, that's priceless. That is priceless.
it. There we go, got the face, all right. That's your feeling, right?
My favorite, that made up for the skipping.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah, I think it's a boy.
It is. It's Georgie.
How cool is that there? Oh my goodness.
All right, these ones have a similar theory of defense as Bakugan. They just are better at it. So Bakugan will ball up and say, "I don't believe you can get me." And generally speaking, he is correct. His carapace would stop at 22 short. Obviously, I'm not going to put that to the test. Does anybody see where he went?
I thought you meant behind the
Okay, he's behind the trash can.
Oh, okay.
But these ones will ball up. See the way this one is rolled? They can roll until you can't see any part of them. And when they are balled up, their quills stick out tangent to their skin, and they are quite sharp like that. Yep, this one is much sharper than that one because this one is partially albino, that one is not. The albino ones have no fur in between their quills. See the way that this is all quills, no fur? This one has quills and fur. And so when they are balled up, they are very sharp and helps to have farmer hands. But then when you pick them up and they calm down and open up, you can just pet them from front to back like this. If you pet them from back to front, you'll have a very different experience, and the band-aids are right over there. And but if you want to hold one, then and you want to take a picture, you take your hand and you put it behind his two front feet like that, so it doesn't ball up. And you just be like, "Oh, we're so cute." You can have your face and its face in the same picture like that. And if you want to pick it up, the best way to do it is to slide your fingers under it like this, because they're soft on the bottom and they're only sharp on the top. So just slide your fingers under it, you can pick it up. You're welcome to hold these guys if you like.
What are you doing, Georgie? What? You want to go around?
This one is Liza Minnelli. We got a lot of critters.
Oh, I thought you were getting Willie out.
So Georgie there is a spider monkey. He is 6 months old. So for the past 3 months, he's been in the house getting used to the family and the staff here on the farm. And now he is learning that there are other people, and he will soon be doing guest encounters the way that the sloths and kangaroos do guest encounters. But he isn't at all consistent with loving everybody yet. Right now, we just let him go to whoever he wants to. If he wants to go to him, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine too. It's his choice. But before he do guest encounters, he has to, be pretty comfortable with everybody. But he's big. It takes time. So no rush on it. But I think the way that it's going, the way he just runs and climbs up people, probably within, I don't know, maybe a month, we'll be doing monkey encounters. He'll be able to come out here and have a one-on-one with a monkey the way he can with a sloth.
He's changed in like 2.5 weeks.
Oh yeah, 2.5 weeks ago we weren't letting him go to anybody.
Yeah.
And so right now his crew is beards and baseball hats. So if you're coming out here and you want to hold a monkey, grow a beard and wear a baseball hat. My son is Vladik, actually walked down here and holding him a little while ago, and so Vladik has a beard and baseball cap. So that is Georgie's comfort zone. And last week I had a guy out here that was Ukrainian, and my son also is Ukrainian. So he has a very heavy accent. And so, the other Ukrainian guy who was here just randomly, just a visitor. And he had a hat and a beard and a Russian accent, and the monkey was like instantly in love with it. He's a boy. Mm-hmm. Did you pick Baku up?
Yes.
All right, let's put these guys away. I'm going to get the next animal.
That's because he saw Vlad go in there.
Just like you always doing.
I was like, do you have it in your pocket? It is a small animal, so it's completely feasible that it could have been in his pocket. That's the reason I was like, maybe it is in his pocket.
These guys are sugar gliders. So sugar gliders are marsupials. That means mammals with pouches. So they are in no way at all related to squirrels. These guys would be closer relatives to kangaroos than squirrels, because those are also marsupials, meaning mammals with pouches. To hold one, what you do is scoop like a pancake. Remember that a pancake very rarely scoops itself, and you don't grab a pancake off of the griddle like this, or you have just a mush mess. And similarly, you scoop a sugar glider to hold it. Scoop like a pancake. There you go. They just woke up. Yeah, they're nocturnal. So these guys make good pets, but not if you're going to keep them in the bedroom where you sleep. Because they do run on a wheel at night, and at night they do sometimes bark like a little tiny dog. And, but if you, hang on, it's about to drop one there. Just let it fall on the floor. Scoop like pancake. Pancakes don't scoop themselves. Just like this. Scoop. a number of color sugar gliders here. We have the grays are standards. That one would be a mosaic that it's multicolored. Then we have some platinums too.
Not like that, Mom.
No, it don't. None of that.
So is it agitated or?
Oh, it's
because
just
of the last
figuring it
color?
out. No, it's all right. I just woke up.
Okay. I get it.
I don't fall. These guys are native to Australia, like most marsupials are. And when they are born, they are the size of a single grain of rice. Go up into their mother's pouch and latch onto a teat, and that teat
I'll
then
drop it
grows
off to
into
Mom
their
because
mouth.
he's just running into Sloth.
No, just give it to me. Mom's working. Georgie, good boy.
I'm dropping out of zone.
Yeah. Good boy, Georgie. So, the teeth grows into the mouth and they can't get knocked off or they won't be able to get back onto it. Just put these ones away. I'm going to go get the smallest animal on the farm. Stay with me, buddy. Come here. Oh, hand.
So y'all need.
Yeah.
Gotta keep the beard in hat.
Yeah.
Oh, well, don't worry.
That monkey's like a perpetual toddler because it just picks up stuff and chunks it.
Alright guys, this is the smallest animal on the farm. This one is a micro squirrel. Micro squirrel is the world's smallest type of squirrel. This one is a baby. He will still get bigger than this, and I'll show you an adult one in a minute. But this is the size that micro squirrels are when they're ready to go home with people. And they are super cute little animals. But if you give me just a second, I'm going to go grab an adult one and show it to you. The one that you can hold.
Hold that hair up.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes he gets a little rowdy with the hair, so make sure you got a good hold on it. I think Michaela's gotten her hair pulled a little bit by Georgie, so yeah. Don't give him free rein. So a lot of times, like, he won't come to me because when he first came here, everybody would like pawn after him, and I was like, I don't care. I was like, you're gonna get so much attention, and now he's just finally starting to warm up. But I think he sees the tripod as competition. He's like, whoa, this is like this weird tree thing that goes everywhere.
Yeah.
This one is Tick. His wife's name is Tack. Tick and Tack. Tick and Tack are adult micro squirrels. This one is 3 years old. Interesting thing with micro squirrels, they don't fall down. Their fingers are so little that it's holding on to the lines in my skin and you just can't feel it. So same way, scoop like a pancake if you would like to hold this one. And when you hold it, it feels as if it's vibrating. The reason it feels like it's vibrating is its heart rate is super high. Even though their heart rate is 200 plus beats per minute, they are still going to live 7 or 8 years. And they are squirrels. They're not mice. They're not rats. They are the world's smallest type of squirrel. And they are from South Africa. The South African micro squirrels are properly called an African pygmy squirrel. The biggest that these can get is 20 grams, which is what that one is. So that is right at 1 ounce. So you would need 16 of these to make a pound of micro squirrels. These guys do make excellent pets. They live in a 10-gallon aquarium. You clean it 4 times a year, summer, winter, spring, fall. And they will bond to an individual person. So after you've had it for a month or so, it'll be bonded to you individually and it won't run away from you. And the other cool thing if you're getting this pet for a child is it's super convenient that they only eat about $20 worth of food a year. And if you're going away on vacation for a week, you can just put some extra food in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
No squirrels for you, Georgie. Not sure you're up for a pet.
Well, hello. Oh. No.
There's been a
I was
Say it again, Ellie.
Let him climb yet. Let him climb yet.
I think it's 4096, but it's a completely brown bag. It should have a tag on it that says bomber ration.
flop over.
So funny.
Alright guys, up next we got the cute squad. Go down there, I just gotta close these doors.
You get a lot of good Georgie footage, so thank you.
He definitely is comfortable with you, that's for sure. That's crazy. Yes.
Hey cute squad. Come on babies. Come on babies. Alright guys, these ones are alpacas and sheep and goats. So that one is a llama, even though I told you earlier that llamas are bigger. This one is a miniature llama, but still the banana-shaped ears give her away as a llama. The other ones, the straight ears, give them away as alpacas. But some idiot here, possibly me, named this one Llama Del Rey before I realized that I was naming an alpaca a llama. And this one is Tyler because that dude looks like a lady. And this one is Fox because he's got the socks. And this is Shoat because she's a sheep that looks like a goat. And the two gray ones are Salt and Pebbles here. And the blonde one there is Blondie. She may or may not have a heart of glass. The tiny one is Teeny because we're just creative like that. And the sheep right there is Dodge because he's a ram. You're welcome to pick up the sheep and the goats. If you're going to pick up a sheep or a goat, the easiest way to hold them is around the ends like this. Not underneath, but around the ends like that. And you're welcome to pick them up and hold them if you want to. Georgie, come here, buddy. Hand. Hand. Good boy.
See if,
Good boy, Georgie.
see if he'll ride a goat.
Say what?
I said, see if he'll ride a goat.
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So that looks like a goat right there, show. That one is a black belly sheep. So it actually is a sheep, but it looks like a goat. So this would be called a hair sheep, not a wool sheep. So Dodge, right there is a wool sheep. This one is a hair sheep. And she's probably the prettiest one here. I'm gonna hold her, there you go. So that one is the luckiest unlucky sheep you ever have seen, because she was a twin, so she was rejected by her mother. So that's unlucky, but now she's on a pet farm where she was on a meat farm, so that's, you know, thrill of victory. Up from the agony of defeat, reverse of the wild world of sports. Teeny is the same age as these other goats, she's just as teeny. And Liza Minnelli actually is older than these other alpacas, which should be smaller than her. She's just as miniature. The reason that these alpacas are all covered up with shavings is it's a natural defense for them. Their first baby coat has little barbs on the end of each piece of hair, so that when they lay down on the ground, they just pick up whatever is on the ground, whatever natural material. So that when their mother goes out to graze for the day, the alpacas are covered up.
60-minute horse ride is 3 or 2 people. I believe it's 2.
I'll confirm 1 second.
I've got it.
I have a picture on my phone, I'm gonna go for it.
It needs to be close up and from the condo. Thank you.
So anyway, they have a little barb on the end of each piece of hair, so that they pick up whatever natural material is on the ground around them. And that way, when their mother goes out grazing for the day, whether it's, you know, fall and they're covered in leaves, or spring and they're covered in grass, they're covered up in whatever's laying on the ground, so they blend in well while their mother is out. And then after their first baby coat is gone, they will be, they'll just be smooth like the other llamas are. What you think of Shote there, Georgie? He does look like he'd like to ride, doesn't he?
He tried to grab the legs of some of the skinny one there. This one.
Liza?
Yeah, he got on her and she was like kicked. And then he was holding him in his arms with the goat, and he was like holding onto the goat's back. Yeah, the goat was like, "What is going on?"
I guess Poppy wore out as well. Aku is an insectivore, the armadillo. So we feed him superworms and mealworms and hornworms and waxworms and housefly larvae and black soldier fly pupa. So he likes to dig in everything all the time. And when you're wearing low shoes like that and he's trying to dig in the corners of your shoes, it can get annoying. But if it doesn't happen every day, it's pretty cute.
He's really getting into it now.
Hey, Sol. Trying to clear the truck out.
No. All my tools are this. I need to go buy. The boys taking tools out and then put in my truck.
And this body, you said you were missing all your,
Well, now I'm missing all my drills and all my bits and everything.
you were missing all your pliers and channel locks. I just bought a new pack and left those in the back of your truck.
Thank you. I looked in a wreck truck and it's not in a wreck truck, so I don't know what to do with it.
The drills,
Yeah.
they're probably up in the store where they were working on stuff. Your red one is in here, Bloody.
Georgie.
Alright, let's put these guys away. Come on, babies. Come here, guys. Hey, come on, babies. Come on, Paul. Hey, boo boo, come here. Be right back. I'm going to get a camel, guys.
Okay. Yeah. No.
We're trying to get her to gain weight, so she's drinking straight from the cow milk, it's like everything's bad, it's looking at it.
No, we'll figure it out.
Oh.
Alright guys, this one is a boo. A boo is a male dromedary camel. A boo happens to be my favorite animal on the farm because he's sweet and loving and sort of a dork, so we get along real well. He is 15 years old. He and Ed, the other guy outside there, are utterly codependent. They were born on the same farm, a few days apart, and in their lives they have never ever brought them down here. They about ripped the new barn down. We had to take them back and put a window between their stalls so they would calm down. The most interesting thing about a camel is their ability to store and use water in the form of fat. On the hottest day in the desert, a camel can go 10 days to 2 weeks with not one single drop of water. In that period of time, they can lose 30% of their body mass to dehydration. That camel right there weighs 1,750 pounds. I weigh 175. There's simple math, don't question it. So I'm about 10% of the mass of that camel. So for that camel to lose 30% of his body weight is 500 pounds to dehydration. For me to lose 30% of my body weight would be 50 pounds to dehydration. If I lost 50 pounds because I had no water for 10 days, I would be expired. If the camel lost 500 pounds because he had no water for 10 days, he would be thirsty. And if the camel is thirsty, oh my goodness, he's thirsty. If the camel had actually lost 30% of his body weight, his hump up top would be loose and floppy, hanging off one side or the other. He would be as flat as a horse on top because there is no bone in that hump. And the next time that he got to a significant source of water, one this size could drink 30 gallons, one that size could drink 50 gallons in 3 minutes. That is chucking down somewhere around 17 gallons per minute, or a gallon every 4 seconds-ish. When the camel does that, he can swallow it all in 3 minutes, literally, no exaggeration. Got distracted by my phone there. So that begs the question, where does the water go? Because the only tank in the camel is his stomach, and his stomach only holds 7 to 10 gallons of water. So the way that it works, the camel, as he dehydrates, his red blood cells go from oval just down to flat. You better get that picture. And is that the first time you climbed it? Oh, okay. So making sure your camera person wasn't falling down on the job there. So if you say hand, that makes him come sometimes. But he has to get used to first before the hand command works. But anyway, so his red blood cells go from oval just down to flat. His fat cells shrink down. So we are all normal sized people. Camels, like people, are born with the approximate number of fat cells they'll ever have. But camels, like people, our fat cells can be very different size at different times in their life. So we're all normal sized people. So suppose that this is normal size for a human fat cell. If we had a burning desire to star in the show My 600-Pound Life, our fat cells could go from something like this to something like that, dozens or hundreds of times their original volume. The camel is the exact opposite. If that was for me, say it again.
You want us to get those water moment in right
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The camel is the exact opposite. The camel walks around with his fat cells the size that we would call My 600-Pound Life. So what he would call normal, we would call super morbidly obese. What we would call normal, he would call severely dehydrated. So the difference is that when the camel gets to the other side of the desert and he is going to drink 50 gallons of water all at once, his red blood cells are going to go from flat, just boom, right back to oval, as fast as he can swallow the water. And his fat cells are going to go from normal for a human to normal for a camel. For a human to go from this to that is about months or years of unlimited access to ridiculous amounts of food. But for a camel to go from this to that is about 40 seconds on an individual cell basis, 3.5 minutes on a whole body basis. About 3 minutes to swallow all the water, another 30 seconds to finish processing it. So this is what a camel taught me about the Bible. Before I had camels, I would read the story about the servant goes to find a bride for his master's son, and he says, "Oh Lord, let it be a sign to me that the woman would offer to water not only me, but the camels as well." And I'd be like, "Yeah, so what? She gave your animal a drink, right?" And now that I have camels, and I know that this one can drink 30 and that one can drink 50, back up a few verses, the man was walking with 10 camels. Now we're talking about some girl that's going to dip up 300 to 500 gallons of water with a bucket. that hits a little different. So what I learned from that is maybe if the Bible says it's divine and I don't understand it at the time, I'm allowed to just believe. And maybe I'll figure it out later, or maybe not. But I am allowed to just believe, because the Lord does know better than me. All right, the other cool thing about this, guys, this is the kissing camel. If you want to give him a kiss, you walk up and you say, boo-boo. And the camel will give you a kiss. Makes a great picture. If you don't want a kiss, if you have long arms or a friend, you can stand and take a selfie like that. So feel free. And I know that 2 of you signed up for a camel encounter and 2 of you signed up for a kangaroo encounter. And both of those will come right after this. And if you wanted to add on to the other one, you are welcome to.
Oh my goodness.
Go again. Picture with the man. Big and loud.
Kiss. Can I have a kiss?
You gotta go. He's like, no, here you go. He's like, I already gave you a kiss. What are you talking about? There you go. You want a picture together with him? You guys are going on a camel encounter, right?
No.
You're kangaroos? Okay. Yeah, if you want a picture with both of you, I'll take a picture for you.
Big white dot.
Oh, stop.
I use a lot of other people's camels. Camels. Cameras. I don't use anybody else's camels. Yeah, that's a good one. There you go. Welcome. All right, you want to kiss the camel? Before you ride it? Go, Hey, come on, Martha. He's like, hey, it's my turn with the attention.
All right.
All right, at the end of the encounter, you guys are going to take a picture with both the big camels together. So the encounter is we are going to ride if you want to, and then you can see the 2 baby camels and the other camel. And but their kangaroo encounter is first. That's going outside to see the big kangaroos. If you guys would like to add to that, I think it's 15 each, something like that. Don't have to, can if you want to. All right, let me take this guy back out.
Oh, you smell like it. This one was, what, Alex 6.1, is that right?
Yes.
Really sick, and didn't know when she was gonna make it?
Had to keep giving it lots of food.
Me better than.
right, guys, for the farm tour, that's all, folks. And we're doing the kangaroos now with you guys, and then we'll do the camels next with you guys. And you guys are welcome to hang out here, or you're welcome to wait in the pavilion. Let me help him cut this branch real quick. Let me hold that for you, lad.
Yeah. It tend to get some souvenirs on your hands.
It doesn't reach though.
It's always funny watching the different animals interact, you know, because some are like, I have no idea what's going on, and the monkey's like, I'm gonna mess with everything, you know?
So I was telling them last time we were here,
Yeah.
just a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
this, she loves Elijah so much.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was just like, she was like, just love me.
They're all very sweet. My daughter's 8, and she comes to work with me almost every day.
Does she? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So the animals are very, very, very sweet.
Go for Michaela.
Sloth petals, called clocks, and just a reminder, it is
Mama, that's the
one
swan's baby.
that they said up here for our encounter.
She hears you. All right, kangaroos. All right, let's go out to the kangaroo. Where'd George go? Come on, George Porgy. Good boy.
No, that's the swan's baby, right?
It is. We had to take it in, or else it was gonna end up being a snack. Because the hawks and stuff that fly over. But it's probably about big enough where it can venture out now.
Yesterday we put him out and his parents realized who he was. So when he was out on the pond, they came up to him, but it scared him. So he swam out of the pond and wouldn't get back in.
Bless
So-
his heart.
We're still
Oh,
working with him.
oh. Well, that had to be heartbreaking for the parents.
Georgie, come on. Hey. Come here. Ann. Georgie, man.
Go outside.
Come on, buddy. All right, let's go on outside.
You guys have the place here. I didn't realize.
I'm good.
You wanna go see Fantasy? And pet her. You wanna go see Fantasy? And pet her. You wanna pet the donkey, Georgie? You wanna pet her? Oh, he doesn't want to pet her. All right, so if you take food in your hand and you hold it out for him, he'll come and eat out of your hand. Come here, babies. Come here. Come here, sweetheart. This guy's name is Tough. That's Rough. And if you say to Rough, who's good boy? Who's good boy? Come here, Rough. Hey, come here, Rough. Rough. Hey. We got the woman. Not your breakfast. You already had your breakfast. All right, so the redness of a red kangaroo is a male hormone-driven trait. As you look at the size of the guy over there, you see the big, powerful chest and forearms on, or chest and arms on him. I used to, when I saw the pictures of the big buff kangaroos, assume that they were photoshopped. They are not. That guy is going to get over 6 feet tall and more than 250 pounds. And it's worth knowing that he currently weighs about 115. So he is going to get a whole lot bigger than that. That guy is 4 years old. A male kangaroo grows for all of its life. If it is alive, it is growing. And that guy will live to be nearly 20 years old in all likelihood. The other ones out here, that one is a neutered male. He won't get nearly as big because he doesn't have hormones driving his growth. And all the other ones, oh, that's my toe. All the other ones out here are females. The females will max at 80 to 100 pounds. They won't get any bigger than that. The males in the wild will only get to 140, 150 because their size will be limited by their lifespan. The females will get the same size whether wild or free. Wild or captive.
Well, I was trying to get a little bit of the horse ride, but they disappeared really fast on me, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can get back over here to the awesome animals.
So the male kangaroo, an adult male kangaroo can jump 20 feet from a standstill. On subsequent jumps, they can jump nearly twice that. So as you look from that wood post right there, we're talking about 8, 16, halfway to the third would be 20 feet in one jump. Subsequent jumps, nearly twice that. So that would be from the wood post, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So that in one jump, if they're already moving. This guy isn't quite full size yet, but he already can cover the whole barn in 2 jumps. That barn is 64 feet long. So if he is moving out, heading through the barn, he can jump once in the entry door, once in the middle, and out the other end. This one that's about to come out here is the one that has a baby in the pouch. We may or may not get lucky and see the baby putting his face out of the pouch. Let's see if I can get the other one to stand out of her way.
The male just came over to me just a second ago.
He usually does. Let's walk to the other side so we're closer to him.
Preoccupied with the,
So when you say jump that far,
do I sit back here?
Only 5 or 6 feet.
Do I need to be grabbing that?
You can bring it, yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly a spring. The kangaroos, when you look at their leg, and they have a tight band down the back of the leg, that is in fact a spring. And that is how a kangaroo can cover 15 and 20 miles a day in the desert with very little food. The springs propel them by, potential to kinetic energy instead of jumping just by muscular force. They're trying to jump by muscular force. There is no way at all for the calorie balance on that to work out. So I can tell you, when I hiked the Appalachian Trail for my son, we had to be pounding 5,000 calories a day to not just shed weight like, too much weight. But kangaroo is going to be covering 15 and 20 miles a day, but it is by the energy in the springs, not by the force of muscle. But he does have very powerful legs. When you look at those front legs, those are the weaker ones. Obviously, the back ones are the strong ones. And the reason he's licking himself all slobbery right there is they have a swamp cooler right below the skin of their legs. You see all the network of blood vessels there? There's a tremendous capillary system right under that. And as he licks himself and gets it all slobbery wet, when the slobber evaporates off, it works like a swamp cooler. And the kangaroos, they got 5 toes on each foot. The front feet, obviously it's very easy to see the 5 toes, and he's like an otter's paw. He's got 5 approximately equally sized fingers with like a leather pad that covers all of the paw and all of the fingers at once. And then on the back feet, he's got the one huge giant toe in the middle. And you can just make out the 2 teeny tiny ones on the inside of his foot, and the 2 on the outside of his foot are in that little ball of hair right there. You'd have to get down and dig into his hair there to see that there are in fact 2 toes there also, making 5 on each foot. The structure of his leg, up there where his toes are, that's his foot. What's touching the ground is his ankle. The thing at the top is his knee, and the thing at the back is the thing inside of him. At the back would be his hip if you were comparing him to a human leg. So the great big long spring going down the back of his leg. There's another one going along from foot to ankle. So as he comes down, that stretches that spring like this, and then doing, and it propels him forward. And the normal moving around speed for a group of kangaroos is about 10 miles an hour. The max speed on a female, and therefore the max fleeing speed for the group, is about 28 miles an hour. And the max speed on an adult male, according to Google or Wikipedia or whatever, is 45 miles an hour. There are a number of YouTube. Hey, come here, Damani. Come here, baby. Hey, you gonna show us your baby today? Come on out, sweetheart. Come here. And the reason we're on this side of the fence, not that side of the fence. You see that female over there, how it's bright red right now? The normal color for a female is this bluish gray color, right? The redness of the kangaroo is on him, not in him. If you look underneath his neck, it looks like there's a couple spots that he's bleeding there. Those are his musk glands. The red fluid comes out from the musk glands and spreads across his fur. And then when he's actively breeding one of the females, they will be red from the color transferring from him to her. And so if you see a bright red female out there, that means he's doing his job, and that's not the time to walk around with a kangaroo that is powerful enough to do you serious damage. So that's why we're on this side of the fence today. But, hey, come here, Ruff. Ruff, hey. Ruff. Who's a good boy? Hey, Ruff. Who's a good boy? Ruff. Hey, come here, Ruff. That was just a bonus surprise. That kangaroo wanted to stand up on top of the water. That's weird. When they're like this, they're being friendly, like playful, but they go like like teenage boys. They go from friendly like to not real quickly. And then when they're actually trying to harm each other, they grab on with the front legs like this, leave their back tail on the, leave their only tail, leave their tail on the ground, and they go at each other with the back feet like this, looking to eviscerate one another. And in a battle between two kangaroos, a double mortality is not at all uncommon. Oh yes, absolutely they will. Let me go see if I can get this other kangaroo.
Yeah, he looked, he was blinking his eyes like, oh,
Oh, come here, Rock. Here you go, buddy. Hey, come here, sweetheart. Yeah. Oh, come on. All right, good.
Oh yeah.
Got a foot sticking out. Waiting to see the face. Come back around this way over here. That donkey is fine. Actually, if you'll hand me that bucket of food, I'll just dump it in here on it.
and I'm pretty sure, okay, I guess you know how to do that.
Hey, Ruff, come here, buddy. Come here, Ruff. Oh, there's his face. Look, look, look.
Oh my gosh, look.
You can zoom in on it?
Oh, so pretty. I'm trying to. Oh my goodness. How cool.
Oh, look, it's eating some grass, isn't it?
Yep.
Nibbling at it, isn't it? That is cute.
That is. How adorable.
How much more would you say that is than the new one, Kevin?
Not much. That's what I was saying, like, I felt like that new one in there was tiny.
Wow. I'd be popping
It's a long
grabbing
ride,
things.
isn't it?
How cool.
So that pouch pretty elastic, pretty stretchy, and
It is, in fact, yeah.
so if you catch it up in there.
It does, yeah. Of course, I grew up seeing Winnie the Pooh, so I thought the four houses went horizontally. They don't. They go vertically.
Yeah, not too.